going to have an amazing, amazing, amazing opportunity to actually see a Torah scroll get written. If you did not hear Rabbi's sermon over the high holidays, we as a community are commissioning a sofer. A sofer is a specialist rabbi whose job it is to write Torah scrolls, to write a new scroll just for our community. So for me, this Simchat Torah is really, really special because it starts our community on an amazing, amazing journey. And I'm not sure if the Torah will be done by next Simchat Torah because it takes a really long time to write one. So, but either next year or the year after, we're going to be welcoming a new Torah scroll into our community. I also am very excited to welcome today Matthew Hackett. And I'm very excited to have back in the house Zoe Everman. Right, some things, it's great to have Zoe here, but it's also a little bit sad because part of the reason that Zoe is up here on Bima instead of joining us out in the community is because Lindy is homesick. So I want us all to blow a big kiss to Lindy into that camera right there. Feel better. And we hope that she has a very, very speedy recovery. And today we have some really exciting opportunities. We are going to have a short presentation from each one of our classes. They've also created some artwork. Each class is representing a different book of the Torah. And we are going to have some very special guests who are living out Torah values in today's world. So to get us started, it is my pleasure to invite up our TK through second grade class. So come on up and show us what you've got. Woo. Hey, who's going to talk?
Ready? You want to hold this side? Hello. We are the TK through third grade class. Woo! Yes! We are small but mighty today. And our first book of the Torah is Bereshit, or in English it's called Genesis. And our quote was, Adonai took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and keep it. And to us, that means to help take care of our world. It's all of our jobs to help take care of our world, to work it and to keep it. So these are some of the things that we thought of that help us take care of the world, like
watering the plants and taking out the trash.
Watering the plants and taking out the trash, and donating. And
Recycling.
We have taking care of our animals. We have some trash in the ocean that we're trying to get rid of. And putting things in the right bins, recycling bins or compost bins, and taking care of our earth.
All right. Thank you, TK through third grade. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce all the way from Israel, an amazing world-class chef who is doing some incredible work that supports the idea of taking care of our earth. Give it up, Master Chef.
Shalom. Manishma, how are all of you?
Beseder.
So I have a question. Who here likes to eat steak? Raise your hand if you like a good, juicy, delicious steak. I see so many hands. Some of you not, maybe? Oh, okay, hands, We all love meat. And in fact, people all around the world love to eat meat. But did you know that eating meat is not good for our world? Because, think about it. The grain that it takes to raise a cow, it is so great amount. in a world where people are hungry and are starving, we could be taking that wheat, that grain to feed people, not to raise cows. And also, as the cow is growing, it's giving off methane gas, which is so bad for our environment. We talk about global warming. It's disastrous if you really think about it. And how about just caring for the animals? Isn't it terrible that an animal has to die so we can have a juicy steak? Well, I'm not wanting to make everyone feel bad, but people who are concerned about the sustainability of our earth have thought about this, and they thought, maybe there's another way. Now, some people, with everything I've told you, just give up on eating meat. They become vegetarians, which is fine and well. And I can't say anything bad about that. My hat goes off to all to all those people. But some people want to keep eating meat. So, is there another way? Now, I can't tell you the science because obviously I'm not a scientist. I'm a chef, a world-renowned chef, I might add, who came all the way. Amar Ilan. I came all the way from Israel, and I studied and got my degree at the Culinary Institute of America. Then I worked at some of the top restaurants in New York City before going back to Israel and opening up some of my own amazing restaurants. If you come to Israel, you'll be my guest. Anyway, so I can't tell you the science behind it because my job is to make sure that it tastes good, that it feels like a real steak. But we have, with a group of people, started a company called Olive Farms. We don't have a farm, though. We have a laboratory. And we are taking cells from a real cow, doesn't hurt the cow at all, and growing them in a laboratory. We can make steak without harming a cow. And it's real meat. It's not fake because it's made from the cells of a cow and grown into a laboratory to make delicious, juicy steaks. Now, it's just gotten started. It's only been a couple of years, but it's really exciting. And to think, if we could grow this company and send it around the world, and people could buy into this notion of we need to save our planet by not eating meat. We eat this delicious meat instead. Think of how many cows would be saved. Think of all the grain we could use to feed people instead of cows. Think about how we can save our planet for future generations. God put us in the garden to till and to tend, meaning we're allowed to take from the earth, but we also need to protect it. So remember, Olive Farms, Amar Ilan, get involved. This is so exciting. Anyway, I think I have a meeting. Got to go taste the newest steak. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom! Thank you, Amar. Have you ever heard something so amazing in your life? I don't know, I just think that's really cool. And being the Hebrew geek that I am, I love that the name of the farm is Olive Farms. So Hebrew, as you know, is a very, very ancient language, and the letters of the Hebrew alphabet started out as pictures. And olive originally looked like this. I'm sorry, I should have done something big for the screen. I didn't think fast enough. It looks like this, but can you see the ox? Oh. Olive actually means ox in Hebrew. I think that that's very cool. And so Olive Farms is very appropriately named because their task is to take care of the animals in our world, to reduce the carbon emissions so that we can help take care of our atmosphere, and also to help alleviate, oh, Ari, aren't you good? To help alleviate the hunger insecurity, food insecurity around our world. So I'm very, very excited that Amar was able to come all the way from Israel to visit with us today. And as you know, in the Jewish world, so we love to teach by singing. And there's a song that all of you know that is totally about connecting with the earth, connecting with the nature, and feeling it both in our bodies and in our souls. And the song is called Adama, which means ground. So please join me. Let's get enthusiastic and excited. We're going to start it off with a hey-ya-ho. Ya hey ya hey ya hey ya hey ya hey ya hey ya ho. Hey ya 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 ho. Hey ya hey ya hey ya hey ya hey ya hey ya hey ya. Let's do that one more time. Hey ya 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 ho. Hey ya 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 ho. Hey ya hey ya. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Adama, Adama, Veshamayim, Veshamayim, Chom ha'esh, Zil hamayim, Ani margison, Begufi, Begufi venishmati. Hey ya ho, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya ho. Love the earth, love the earth, love the sky, love the sky. Heat of fire, heat of fire, drop of water, drop of water. I can feel it in my body, in my spirit, in my soul. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Adama, Adama, Veshamayim, Veshamayim, Chom ha'esh, Zil hamayim, Ani margison, Begufi, Beruchi venishmati. One big hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Oh, wow, that was really fun. Thank you all so much. Very exciting. So, you guys all know I'm an old lady. I've been on this planet for a really long time. When I was a little girl, somewhere around Raisel's age, so there was a movement in the United States called the Civil Rights Movement. And there was a rabbi who took an amazing leadership role within the Civil Rights Movement. And we are so lucky to have him here with us today. So give it up for Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel.
How wondrous are all your creations, O God. Oh, we live in an amazing world. Was anybody up this morning to see the sunrise? Oh, it was so beautiful. Or did you see the sunset last night? Oh, my goodness. You should have seen the colors in the sky. And the moon. Oh. And did you ever stop to think that a huge, huge tree, hundreds of feet tall, begins its life as a tiny, tiny little seed you can hold in the palm of your hand? We live in a wondrous, amazing world. Did you ever stop to wonder Did you ever even stop to think how amazing it is that you can think? My head is just filled with all these thoughts. I'm a rabbi, born in Poland, educated in Germany, not only in a rabbinic seminary, but at the University of Berlin, where I got my PhD. I'm a philosopher, I'm a theologian. My head is so filled with thoughts, it just bursts constantly. But one of the things that I'm so obsessed with is this idea of just appreciating the world we live in. And I came up with this phrase that I think says it better than anything: radical amazement. Can you say that? Radical amazement. Because, you know, as our world advances and we know more and more things, like our knowledge base expands, we start to explain how the world was created. We start to build all this great technology. We have telephones and we have computers and all these things that, and I'm not knocking them. They're great and it's amazing. But all these things tend to just take us away from appreciating the world that we live in. Some people have difficulty believing in God. Their faith is sort of taken away because of all the knowledge that we have. But, you know, it shouldn't be that way. If one wants to have a sense of wonder, one only needs to stop and look at the natural world around them and just breathe for a moment, and you will be amazed. How could you not have faith when you think about the miracle of the birth of a baby? Radical amazement. We need this. Our world needs this more than anything. All the problems, so many of the problems we have, it's because we've stopped believing. We've stopped appreciating. And some of the most important things, the miracle of creation. So that's what I want to teach. That's what I want to spread. I know I'm a little meshuggah. I got crazy wild hair. I'm so busy thinking these thoughts, I can't even have time to get a haircut. But just remember, Marabu Ma'asecha Adonai, how wondrous is all your creation, God. Radical amazement. Shalom, shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. In the second book of the Torah, we learn a little bit more about radical amazement. And it is my pleasure to invite our 5th and 6th graders up to give us a little lesson.
We are the 5th and 6th grade class. Our book is Shemot and translates to Exodus.
Who among the gods is like you? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in glory, working wonders?
We think that this quote means that God is one and no one can compare to his glories and wonders.
Our theme is there are miracles everywhere. For example, a flower blooming in winter as shown in the picture.
And the picture's right here of the flower with the tree.
Flowers growing in winter, that is most definitely a miracle. Thank you, 5th and 6th grade. The first words out of Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel's mouth were marabu. So, which means how amazing and how wonderful and how numerous are your creations in this earth. how everything on our earth, the plants, the trees, the animals, and ourselves included, are all miracles. So join me, Ma Rabu. For our third book of Torah, it is my honor to invite up our 7th and 8th graders. Come on up to the bina.
Our quote comes from the book Vayikra, which in English is Leviticus. It says that we should treat others the way we want to be treated. We think this means your impact on people can impact you. Therefore, we should always be considerate of others.
You get what you give. If you give love, you will receive something for your gratitude. The little things matter.
And for our poster, what we decided to do was basically make a heart in the middle and surround it with a lot of things we can do to others. Like, we can be honest with others, treat people with kindness, love one another, be humble, and loyal to each other. So just a lot of nice things we can do for each other.
Thank you so much. Raise your hand if you like to celebrate Hanukkah. Okay. So, most of us like to celebrate Hanukkah, but there was a time in a town called Billings, Montana, where Hanukkah came with a little bit of trouble. And here to tell us about it is the chief of police from Billings, Montana.
Is this Temple Israel?
It is.
Oh, okay, I'm in the right place.
Did you go through our security check on your way in?
Well, it was tough, but I got through. Hi. So I want to tell you what happened in my city of Billings, Montana. It was about 20 years ago. And the trouble all started actually when some skinheads came to town, these radical bullies, these bad guys who hated everyone who didn't think or look like they did. And first, they tagged with spray paint the home of a Native American family who lived in Billings, putting terrible things on the walls outside of their house. And, you know, as the chief of police of Billings, I was speaking out against hatred in all forms. And an amazing thing happened. The Guild of House Painters, this professional organization of people who paint houses for a living, got together and volunteered their time and materials, and they went to that house and they painted the house, made it look amazing. What an act of love that was. And it wasn't long after that, and another bad thing happened. These same skinheads went to harass an African-American church, God-loving people who on Sunday morning come to praise God. And here's these skinheads bothering them. So an amazing thing happened again. People of all faiths came to pray with the people of that black African church so that they would feel safe. And then one more thing happened. What's that holiday? Chanukah? Chanukah? I don't know how to say it. Those Jews can't ever decide on how to spell it. I don't know why. Anyway, so this Chanukah holiday comes along. And there's a Jewish family. We have lots of Jewish families in Billings. And these same terrible people see a menorah in the window, a Chanukah menorah, whatever, and they throw a brick through the window. What could be more hateful and stupid? And the people of Billings, Montana, we were just all in shock that something like that would happen in our town. And we banded together and we said, not in our town. And the newspaper, the Billings Gazette, printed on the front page of the newspaper a picture of a Chanukah menorah and asked people if they would put this in their window. Jewish or not, Christian, Muslim, whatever, just stand in solidarity with the Jews. And guess what? Billings, Montana is not such a big city. 10,000 people proudly put this in their window for the rest of the week of Chanukah. What an act of love and solidarity. What an amazing example of that quote from the Bible, love your neighbor as yourself. It's a good story, and I wish that more people can learn this lesson, because we need to come together. We need to love one another and respect one another, because we're all created by the same God. And now I think I need to go. I got a meeting back at the station. But thanks for listening.
Thank you, Chief. Love your neighbor as yourself. Those words are so, so, so important. Imagine what our world would look like if every person loved their neighbor and treated their neighbor as how they want to be treated. And our 7th and 8th graders gave us some great ideas on things we can do to love our neighbors as ourselves, but I want to hear a few more ideas. Who's got an idea? What can you do to love your neighbor as yourself? Lorelei.
You can help them when they need help.
Beautiful, absolutely. You can help them when you need help. We're going to hear from Judah and then Liam.
I was going to say you can be kind to them and like have them and include them in like different holidays.
Nice, including people in your holiday celebrations. Beautiful. Liam.
Taking out trash.
Taking out the trash, absolutely. Nobody wants to live in a pile of trash, that's for sure. Other ideas. How can we love our neighbors as ourselves? All right, Sababa, my eyes are on you. Alyssa. What can you do to love your neighbor as yourself?
We can watch out for each other and each other's safety.
Ross, what can you do?
You can like make sure like your property's clean or something. I don't know.
Nice, absolutely. Keep your property up so that your neighbors also feel good about where they live.
You could have like parties with them and dinners with them.
Yeah.
So, nice, parties and dinners. Getting together with each other, getting to know each other is wonderful. Madeline.
How about trading information with your neighbors so you know their name, their phone number, so that you can check in on them or they can check in on you?
Nice. You know, back in the old days, everybody that lived in a neighborhood knew everybody else in the neighborhood. But today, a lot of us don't even know the person who lives right next door. So, getting to know your neighbors, inviting them over, having get-togethers, dinners, and holidays, because Hinei ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. How amazing, how good, how wonderful it is when we all come together. So join us. Let's light up the world, oh brothers and sisters, together with peace and love. Bring light to the world, oh sisters and brothers, and sing Hinei Matov. Let me hear ya! Yanana, yanana, Hinei Matov. Yanana, yanana, Manayim. Yanana, yanana, Shevet Achim. Shevet Achim gam yachad. Yanana, yanana, Hinei Matov. Yanana, yanana, Manayim. Yanana, yanana, Shevet Achim. Shevet Achim gam yachad. I love that new Hinei Matov. It's great. I also love Sababa. And Sababa is going to do 2 books of the Torah for us, but we're just going to start with one. We're going to start with the 4th book of Torah, Bamidbar. So our Bamidbar Sababa team, come on up. Ooh, beautiful. Who did the Hebrew? Wow, Adrian, that's gorgeous. Nice Hebrew.
Okay. Our book is Bamidbar, or Numbers, and our quote is, "We saw ourselves as grasshoppers, so they must have seen us that way too."
Our interpretation of this quote is that the way you present yourself is the way others will perceive you. So, for example, if you walk with confidence and you know what you're doing, everybody else is going to think you know what you're doing and that you're confident within yourself.
Thank you very much, Sababa. Now, we've heard a lot from adults today, so I think that it's time for us to hear from our teens. So, from Parkland, Florida, give it up for teen social justice leaders.
I won't boast about myself, but I was on the gymnastics team. Lettered, varsity. Anyway, that's not what I came to talk about. Have you ever been so scared, but also feeling so helpless that you think there's nothing that you could do to protect yourself or to make a difference, to stop something that's so terrible it's beyond belief? Have you ever felt helpless?
Yes.
Well, that's how I felt. Because I was there in my high school in Parkland, Florida, in 2018, when this crazy guy, who used to be a student at the school, came in with a gun and started shooting and hurt a lot of people. I was there that day, and it was so, so frightening beyond belief. And after all was said and done, and we saw what that man had done, the lives that were taken, the people who were injured, the fear that we all felt, I got together with some of my classmates, and we said, we have to do something. Enough with feeling helpless. Now, I'm Jewish, and I grew up in a congregation much like this one, called Kol Tikva, which means the voice of hope. And I was taught by my teachers and by my rabbis that we have a voice, and that when we see injustice in the world, we have a responsibility as Jews to do something about it. Not to be silent, not to feel helpless. There's that line in the Torah where the scouts who went into Israel came back and said, we were like grasshoppers in their eyes, and so we were in our eyes. What does it mean to be a grasshopper? A little bug in the grass. But we said, no, we are not grasshoppers. And we have voices. And so we started to organize. And we called all our friends who called all their friends who called all their friends. And it grew, and it grew, and it grew. And we planned a march. We all got on buses and on airplanes, and we went to Washington, D.C., and we had the largest, the most humongous gathering of young people from all around the country who marched on Washington, D.C., the largest gathering since the Vietnam War, which was many years before, with one message: stop the violence, stop the craziness. We called upon our elected leaders to do something in the face of gun violence. And I was a part of that. And I'm so proud to have been a part of that. And that's a lesson we all need to take to heart, because we are not helpless. We are not grasshoppers. We have a voice. And when we see something in our world, in our society, in our country, in our city, in our school, that's wrong, we need to act. So thank you for listening to me. See ya.
So our Torah teaches that none of us are grasshoppers. That whether you're an adult, whether you're a teenager, whether you're a kid, you have a voice. And you have a responsibility to take care of the world, to take care of yourself, to take care of other people. The world can be a scary place sometimes. And our rabbis knew that. And one of my favorite rabbis, Reb Nachman of Bratslav, so came up with a wonderful, wonderful quote. He saw the world as a very narrow bridge, a place where it's easy to fall off, it could be easy to get hurt, a place where you have to be aware of your surroundings, So, and be conscientious of what's going on around you, but a place that you need to cross, and the best way to do that is not to be afraid. Oh, how long to love. Yes, that's our love. That high car, that high car. Love I had love. The whole world is a very narrow bridge, and I say the most important part is not to be afraid. The whole world is a very narrow bridge, and I say the most important part is not to be afraid. Go along to love. Whole world. Yes, it's our narrow bridge. Most important part. Most important part. Love not to be afraid. The whole world is a very narrow bridge, and I say the most important part is not to be afraid. Hey! The whole world is a very narrow bridge, and I say the most important part is not to be afraid. Let me hear ya. Go along to love. Whole world. Yes, it's our narrow bridge. Most important part. Most important part. Love not to be afraid. Nice, give it up. That was beautiful, guys. And let's hear it for our Deuteronomy Sababa team. Come on down.
Deuteronomy.
More beautiful Hebrew. Wow, you guys are really talented.
Our book is Devarim, and our quote is, "Justice, justice, you shall pursue." When most people think of justice, the first thing that comes to mind is a courtroom. But a majority of justice, especially in this country, is everyone. Everyone speaking out for what they believe in, and some of the most prominent acts of justice that have happened in the past couple years is the BLM movement and LGBTQ plus rights. And this is the justice that we all fight for.
All right, thank you, Sababa. Beautiful. I love that idea that justice isn't just in the courtroom. Justice is also about equal opportunity and about equal access to resources and equal opportunities for education. But certainly, we need our courts in order to bring justice into our land. And it is our great privilege today to welcome Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge. Hi. Well, I heard that thank you for that introduction. My name is Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I was the second female woman, justice appointed to the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court of the United States of America. But I have to tell you, it was a very, very long road that led to that appointment, and a very difficult road, I must say, because I was born in a day and an age when very few women were allowed or even thought about going to college. You know, back in my day when I was young, the thinking was a woman's place is barefoot and pregnant, standing in the kitchen, preparing a meal for her family. Now, don't get me wrong, there is nothing at all whatsoever wrong with that. A woman who chooses to be a homemaker, that is the toughest job. But why should half of the human race be denied the opportunity to go and receive a higher education, to work in professions just like the male counterparts? That's crazy. And I always loved school, I always loved books, and I always wanted more. So I graduated high school and I went to college. But that wasn't enough. I wanted to study more. I loved studying and I loved the law. I was fascinated with issues of right and wrong and justice, so I went to law school. And I went even further and I got my PhD. And I became a professor of law at Columbia University, one of the most prestigious institutions of higher learning in our country. And always, I was interested in issues of women's rights, because women were denied many basic rights. And do you know what? Women's rights are human rights. Why should women be treated any different than men under the law? It's ridiculous. So I worked hard with my learning and my knowledge of the law. I worked to see that laws were enacted that put men and women on an equal plane, that they were treated equally, that they had opportunities to study, to go to school, to work in whatever jobs they wanted to. And little by little, people's minds were opened, and laws changed, and more women went into higher learning. They went to college, and they started working in the professions. Today, we don't even think about being strange that a woman could be a lawyer or a doctor or a CEO of a big, important company. We have many women who are doing that today. Not that we still don't have a long way to go, to tell you the truth, sweetheart. You can be whatever you want to be. Don't let any man tell you differently. I failed to mention Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Does that sound like a Jewish name to you? No. Well, you're darn tootin' right, I'm Jewish. And my Jewish identity is something I am always very, very proud of. And I think it's some of what I learned growing up as a Jew that also made me so passionate about this search for justice. And somebody gave me a beautiful plaque that always is hanging in a prominent place in my office. You know what it says? Tzedek Tirdof, which means, anyone? Justice shall you pursue. Why do you think it says justice twice? Why doesn't it just say Tzedek Tirdof, justice pursue? Why do we have to say Tzedek twice? Isn't that repetitious? Yes?
Of law school.
What? Law school, that's right. Law is important, justice is important. Sometimes you have to say it twice. There's lots of teachings about it. You have to seek justice in just ways. Justice shall you pursue. So I hope that you're inspired by my story. I hope whether you're a boy or you're a girl, you'll seek to do your best and study hard in school, get good grades, go to college. Open your mind to knowledge and learning, and always be passionate about justice for all. Tzedek Tirdof. Thank you.
So I love that in the Torah, when we talk about justice, we're talking about more than courtrooms and criminals. So we are taking a look at the world around us. And we are looking at the things in our world that are broken. People who don't have a roof over their heads, people who don't have clothes to wear, people who don't have enough to eat, people who don't have access to clean water, people who don't have access to education. All of those things are injustices. And our tradition teaches that it's our job to fix the world. So, Tikkun Olam, sound familiar? Okay. So, we are bringing back an oldie but goodie today. So, and the Hebrew words are really tough to say, so we're going to try them out just a little bit first. The first word we're going to try is litaken. Litaken. Which means to fix. So, litaken et ha'olam. Try that.
Litaken et ha'olam.
Okay, I got to tell you, that's the easy part. Now, here are some little harder words. Shenatan lanu. Try it.
Shenatan lanu.
Once more.
Shenatan lanu.
He's dam nut.
He's dam nut.
Shenatan lanu. He's dam nut.
Shenatan lanu. He's dam nut.
Litaken et ha'olam.
Litaken et ha'olam.
Nice. Which is, thank you, God, creator of the universe, who has given us the opportunity to fix the world. And those of us that are older, you're going to remember it, you're going to know it. Let's rock it.
I want to ask everyone to stand up for this one.
Ooh,
I think
nice.
we need to feel it from our heads to our toes. Thank you, Nico.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Baruch atah. Baruch atah Adonai.
Adonai.
Eloheinu melech haolam. Baruch atah Adonai. Eloheinu melech haolam. Here we go. Shenatan lanu hizamnu letaken et ha'olam. Shenatan lanu hizamnu letaken et ha'olam.
One more.
Shenatan lanu hizamnu letaken et ha'olam. 1, 2, you know what to do. Na 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 na.
What? Okay.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Baruch atah. Baruch atah Adonai. Adonai. Eloheinu melech haolam. Baruch atah Adonai. Adonai. Eloheinu melech haolam. Shenatan lanu hizamnu letaken et ha'olam. Shenatan lanu hizamnu letaken et ha'olam. Shenatan lanu hizamnu letaken et ha'olam. 1, 2, you know what to do. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Baruch atah Adonai. Adonai. Eloheinu melech haolam.
What?
Baruch atah Adonai. Eloheinu melech haolam. Shenatan lanu hizamnu letaken et ha'olam. Shenatan lanu hizamnu letaken et ha'olam.
Last time.
Shenatan lanu hizamnu letaken et ha'olam. 1, 2, you know what to do. Na 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 na.
Na na na.
Na na And if you turn around and look, we can give a big thank you to Lorenzo Rangel, who has been hanging our murals up for us. And I hope that later on today you will take a minute and get up close and personal with what our students have shared with us today. And now, it is Simchat Torah, so I think we should take the Torahs out to celebrate. What do you say? Here's how it's going to happen. I am going to invite 4 lucky adults to come up onto the bima. Each of them will take a Torah scroll. They will process down the middle aisle and stop right at the end of the seats. After they're in place, all of us here will parade past every Torah that is in our ark. There is a custom in the Jewish world to show respect and dignity to the Torah by touching it and then kissing your lips. So if you would like to take advantage of that custom and to try it out today, I encourage you to do so. You can do it on one Torah, you can do it on all 4 Torahs, so whatever moves you. And as we move back into the social hall, we will start a hora, which if you don't know how to do the hora, run around in circles, smile, and have a good time, and you got it. We'll do a little Israeli dancing, and then we are going to unroll the entire Torah scroll. The Torah is really long, so we're going to have to make a big, big circle in the social hall and spread ourselves out to make sure that we support it. Little reminder, we can touch the Torah on the back side, but we don't touch the Torah on the side where the writing is. The oils in our skin will damage the letters and make it difficult for us to see. I mentioned earlier that we're getting a new Torah! I'm so excited, I can't wait. And part of the reason that we're moving forward with that project is because our Torahs are old. And there are places in the Torah that are getting really difficult to read. In fact, this year on Yom Kippur, as I was reading along, I came across a word, and it was a good thing that I knew exactly what that word was going to be because it was so faded I could hardly see it. So, anyway, I digress. I know you all find that shocking. So we'll unroll the Torah, and as is our custom, we will read the last sentences of Torah, and in a single breath, we will read the first sentences of Torah, representing our continual study of Torah. The cycle of Torah never, ever, ever ends. And then we'll change the covers. We'll take them out of their holiday whites. We'll put them back into their beautiful, everyday, colorful colors, and then bring them back up and put them in the ark. Sound like a good plan? Yeah. So I wonder what happened to the rabbi. Where is he? I mean, I really could use his help right now, and he's just been absent through this whole thing. Oh,
Hey,
Rabbi, I was just talking about you. I've been wondering where you were.
we're sitting in my office studying Torah.
Oh, like a good rabbi.
Well, you made it just in time.
But you're just in time. We're getting ready to take the
Oh
Torahs
yeah,
out
I
and
forgot
celebrate.
today is Simchat Torah!
Simchat Torah! So I would like to invite Phyllis Klein and Alberto Vasquez and Hildardo Vasquez and Ben. If you guys could come on up.
There we go.
And Matthew, how about a little sweet as honey?
Honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu B'mitzvotav v'tzivanu. Stand right here, please. La'asok b'divrei Torah. La'asok b'divrei Torah.
Sweet as honey.
Sweet as honey. Sweet as honey. Sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey. Sweet as honey. Sweet as honey on our tongue. Make a circle, guys. Make a circle. Adonai. Eloheinu. Melech haolam. Asher kiddushanu. B'mitzvotav v'tzivanu. La'asok b'divrei Torah. La'asok b'divrei Torah. Sweet as honey. Sweet as honey. Sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey. Sweet as honey. Sweet as honey on our tongue. Let's do some dancing.
Ladies and gentlemen, everybody find a partner. And we're going to make a big circle. One partner on the outside, one partner on the inside. You should be facing
one partner
your
stand on the
partner.
inside circle and one on the outside circle. Yep.
Will you be my
Good job,
partner?
Brooklyn.
So debonair.